everyone. I'm Bam Meeting and this is Spill the Tea, a podcast by Penang Institute. The Hin Bus Depot is no stranger to Penangites as an event space, art gallery, weekend market spot, and for all things creative. It also houses Au Jardin, one of the 2 restaurants in Penang which has a Michelin star. Branded as a creative community hub in Georgetown, Hin Bus Depot started gaining attention in 2014 when it served as Ernest Zachariewicz's first solo exhibition gallery. On today's episode, we are in conversation with Tan Shih Thoe, Managing Director of Lam Chun & Co. and owner and manager of Hin Bus Depot. Thank you for joining us, Shih Thoe.
Thank you, Mei-Ting. Thank you for having me.
Such a pleasure to have you here. Now, let's start by talking about the building. I gathered from the Hin Bus Depot's official website that the building was built in 1947 in the Art Deco style by the Hin Company, which was famous for its blue buses. It was then left vacant when it stopped functioning as a bus depot in 1999 until 2014 when it was reopened to the public for Zachariewicz's exhibition. Could you walk us through the events that led the building to become what it is today, and how did it get a new lease of life?
Sure. This is probably one of the most common questions that people do ask me. So when we acquired this building about 15 years ago, it has stopped being a bus depot at that time. We believe that even at that time, it has been left vacant for probably close to 10 years or even more. So the original owner built the building in 1947, and it houses one of the few bus services in Penang. We remember it as Blue Bus. So Blue Buses, actually, the route is from Georgetown to Telok Pahang. It's popular with the Georgetown to Telok Pahang route. So I believe probably in the 80s or in the 90s, they moved their bus depot to another location. So the building itself was many things after that. And then it became vacant and left dilapidated. So when we acquired it, it was actually a lot of rubbish in there. There were no roofs. There were a lot of overgrowns. So we knew it was a good investment.
Okay.
Obviously, a very good location, a stone throw away from Komta. However, the neighborhood at that time, if you've been there, that time about 15 years ago, it feels a bit neglected.
Right.
A lot of attention and focus was on the UNESCO heritage site, which is the Armenian Street and so forth. I think at that time, the state government improved a lot of the infrastructure there, but not so much the 7th Street precinct, which is that area. So it was not easy for us to rent out to a suitable tenant. There were offers, but we deem it not suitable.
Right.
Not suitable meaning that we don't see them as adding value to the space and also to the neighborhood at that time. So for 3 years, we didn't do anything. We just left it as is. Then I was having a conversation with Ernest Zachariewicz's, who is the mural artist that did the famous Sisters bicycle, and he was telling me about his plan to do his first solo exhibition, and he chose Penang. He felt that Penang is also helped him to become what he is today. Mm-hmm. So he was looking at a few places. I also brought him around to the places that I know I have, but none was suitable.
Okay.
Until I said, okay, this is the last property that I have, but I'm not sure whether it's really the right place because it was
very rundown.
It was very rundown, and then the neighborhood also, Anyway, showed him, and then he loved it. Okay. It was very quick. He just said, "This is it. This is what I want to do. This is where I'm going to do my first solo exhibition."
Love at first sight.
Exactly.
For him? Okay.
Then I asked him, "So what's the theme?" "Oh, art is rubbish. Rubbish is art." Oh my God! I said, "No wonder."
So apt.
Anyway, so it was a quick decision, and it was very fast. His timeline was quite short, quite tight. We refurbished it within 3 months to get it ready.
Right.
So we just do the bare minimum. Just make sure the roof is intact. Functioning toilets. We have electricity. We have water.
Right.
So
Yeah.
basically just the basic lah.
Just the basic, as long as it was safe
Yeah,
for people
yeah.
to enter.
Yep. And then the exhibition happened. So our plan was initially, okay, let it happen. Then maybe after 1 month after its exhibition, we just rent out, to someone
Yeah.
lah. Because now it's more presentable already, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So it opened and the exhibition was very, very popular.
Yeah.
I think obviously because it was also Ernest Zakarovich's
That's right. Yeah.
solo exhibition.
Yeah, I remember actually visiting the exhibition all those like almost 10 years ago.
Yep.
Yep.
And I think the other part that it was popular at that time was because it's still a new idea of a old bus depot or old space converting into an art space or something.
Yeah.
So I think the public was very curious. How does this work? What it looks like and so forth. So at that time it was very popular. Then more importantly, I think for Hin Bus Depot as an art space was that the art community at that time in Penang was also very excited about that space. And they were very eager to do exhibitions in it. So these are young and emerging artists. So, artists that may not get, a chance to do an exhibition in a elsewhere or in a
gallery.
in a commercial gallery. Because in a commercial gallery, obviously you need
expensive.
to sell,
Yeah,
So then when it comes to Hin, they felt that, hey, look, this is a place where I can experiment, I can try, I don't have the pressure of selling, then it became, they're very eager. So we thought that since there's sort of a need for it, maybe let's run it for a couple of years and see how it goes.
Okay.
So a couple of years has become about 10 years now.
Yeah.
And I think almost every month, we have had an exhibition happening in Hin Bus non-stop. So I think except for the pandemic, of course, I think that shows that how important a space like Hin Bus is, in supporting the arts and the arts community.
The arts, and also any emerging artists who are just looking for a space to showcase their work, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so this would be a perfect place for them to really, I would say, really push the boundary, see how far they can go, experiment and so forth.
And without the pressure of selling.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So every time I visit Hin Bus, it is always crowded with people enjoying themselves and truly immersing in the art and creativity around them. So, and this creates a sense of community, I would think. So how does the space create this energy?
So this is, I believe, by design. When I say that, in the beginning when we planned the space, we followed a few ideas. One of the idea was that we try not to over refurbish or over renovate.
Okay.
I think nowadays in Georgetown, especially in the heritage area, you see quite many project that is overly done. We call whitewashing. So we were very aware of that, and we try not to do too much and allow the space to tell its own story. So because every layer of paint has its story. It has become a workshop. It was a bus depot. Then after that, it was someone use it as a scrap yard, and for example. So every layer has its story.
Yep.
So who is to judge what is important, what is not? So it was important for us to keep it as is, except for the really critical renovation, like the roof, for example.
Okay.
We need to
Yep.
put in a new roof, or the toilets. We need to really put in functioning toilets. So other than that, if you go to Hin Bus today, we still left the plaster. If it's broken, we just leave it as it is. If there's a crack, we leave it as it is, and try to keep it as original as possible. So the idea behind it is that when people come in, they can feel the connection. They are not going into a white space.
Yeah.
Outside may look old, but once they go in, it's like just white walls.
So you leave the authenticity intact.
Basically, the layer of history has to be there. So when people go in, they stay and feel it.
Yeah.
Okay, it was a bus depot last time. This is how it feels like.
Yeah.
So that was important. The second idea was we try to make our space as open as possible to the public. One thing with the gallery is you feel sometimes when you want to go into a commercial gallery, there's this barrier.
Indeed.
I
agree.
You feel like, wow, I have to be someone, or I have to be
able to
change
afford
myself.
that art.
Yeah, I have to change my. I cannot be too noisy. I have to be very quiet.
Yeah.
But I think Hin Bus, we try to make it as open as possible, almost like a public space, I would say, so people can feel free to come in. The third one that we were thinking of doing, we did last time was, we knew that at that time, along Jalan Gua was a very busy road, and there were no. If you see today, there are trees, but that time there were no trees. The pedestrian walkway was narrow. Cars were zooming in and out. So we wanted a space inside that is like a sanctuary, that when people come in, they feel very comfortable and they want to stay a bit longer. So these are the few ideas we followed at that time. To build a space that people would be drawn to it. So that's a physical space. Then the other part that is very important is the programming. So from the onset, from the first exhibition of Ernest Zagoravic, after that, every month, like I mentioned, we have exhibition and program. We even work with outside organizers to either collaborate with them or to rent the venue to them to do programs again. So there are programs almost every month non-stop. So this is one way to also give the people an opportunity to come and enjoy it or participate in it. Yeah. So all this, I think, helps with, like you say, the energy of the people when you go in and into Hin Bus Depot. Yeah. That's how you feel.
Okay, so it's the physical and the programming, as you leave it to evolve organically, without erasing the past. Of the history of the depot, and every layer that has happened throughout the years. All right, that makes and from the weekend Hin Market, I can tell that it is also a platform for budding entrepreneurs to introduce their products to the masses. So what do you hope to do for these budding entrepreneurs?
So the Hin Market started 1 year after one year after the Hin Bus Depot space started. So the idea is the same. We created a platform for the artists. So then we were thinking ourselves, what about a platform for small business owners? Small business owners in the area of crafter, creator, designers, innovators. Yeah. So we thought we have all the infrastructure, we have the space. Why not we start one? So initially it was quite tough. We only had 6 stalls and not many visitors. But we were very determined, and we make sure we are open every Sunday without fail.
Okay.
Whether we have people visiting or we have stalls, we will make sure that we are there always open. So the whole idea is we want to create this community of small business owners to come together every Sunday. They can meet up, they can share ideas, they can think of ways to collaborate. They can even experiment with their product and put it out there, because you get instant reaction from the customers who are the visitors of the market. So we felt that it is important to have this type of platform in Penang at that time, for these small business owners. Otherwise, they wouldn't have any other opportunity. And if you look at a lot of cities around the world, the small businesses are very, very important. In shaping the character of the neighborhood. In this sense, in the Gurdwara neighborhood.
Yeah.
So with a platform like that, you will give them confidence to do what they think that can sell, may not be able to sell. So come to the Hin market and try.
Yes.
If it sells, then it gives you confidence. Then it gives you the courage to try something more. You can start with the basic soap making. A lot of people are doing that. Then the question now is, how far can you push your soap making skills or your creativity to a level where even people from overseas want to buy your product and you can export. So obviously that is good for the country, good for yourself and good for the country as well.
Yeah.
So that's the whole idea of the market. And we have some successes. We have some people who started in the market and then went on and open up their own shop or moved to a larger premises. We have some that stopped, that failed.
Okay.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
They fail and then they know that this is not for them and they do something else.
Yes.
So all in all, I think it's a good thing for Penang.
It's certainly a very good platform for these entrepreneurs to basically experiment and see if they should go bolder in their business ventures, or if, like you said, if it is not working out, then they would know that, okay, they should move on to something else instead of just wandering and without any opportunities to basically expose their products and to get feedback from fellow entrepreneurs, but also from customers.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing. So apart from within the depot, it has also made quite an impact on the surrounding area. I must say that the street landscape of Jalan Gurdwara all the way towards Gama and Komtar is now one of the most walkable and pedestrian-friendly streets of Georgetown. So was this spillover effect intentional, and how did it happen?
So first of all, we are very grateful. I have to say, we are so grateful to the council for upgrading the infrastructure there. After many years of dimly lit street lights and small walkway, I would say dangerous walkway, and with broken down cars parked here and there, because at that area you have quite a few car workshops. So they would, one of the way to keep all these broken down cars are parked by the roadside.
Right. Yeah.
So when the council was planning to link up whole of Penang with a bicycle lane, we are very lucky that one of the bicycle lane was in front of Hin Bus.
Okay.
So I think it's by chance. I don't know whether we influenced anything, but it was by chance that they lined a bicycle lane in front of us, and for that they have to expand the bicycle lane and the walkway, and upgrade the whole streetscape. Yeah, and plant trees and so forth. So I wouldn't say that we have influenced a lot, but I think it was just a good timing, and that they planned this during that time, and it was just right in front of us.
Yes, yeah. I mean, like, it's definitely one of those streets which I feel safest to walk on, in Georgetown, with really, really functioning pedestrian traffic lights. Yeah, but apart from the public amenities and public infrastructure, I feel like the creative vibes from Hin Bus Depot have also influenced the types of shops that have opened nearby, and simultaneously raised the standards for the state's creative industry. For example, just right across the street, there's the hotel, and adjacent to it is the One Nordin, and the shops there also, they have all these creative craft shops. How does this make you feel?
Okay, that's a good question. The way I explained to some friends who asked this was, when we started Hin Bus about 10 years ago, we saw the effect of Armenian Street.
Right.
You know, how Armenian Street became what it is today. As a Penangite, I have mixed feelings.
Yep.
You know, this is the probably, I would say, the bad part of gentrification.
Double-edged sword, actually.
Yes. So when it comes to Hin Bus, we were very cautious, I would say, that we do not turn our area into another place just to fulfill the tourist needs.
Yes. Yeah.
We really wanted to focus on our own Penang community. So when we select our tenant, and we are lucky in the sense that we have a row of shop houses in front of us that is within our control, that we support our, probably I would say, small business owners who are really passionate about what they want to do. So we have a few criteria when we select them. We usually talk to them quite extensively, like an interview.
Okay.
Because we really wanted to know their background. We want to know why you want to do this business. It's so tough. For example, you want to open a cafe. You want to open a cafe again? That's usually my response to them, right?
Yeah.
I said, you know how tough it is. It's so tough, What will make people go around this neighborhood a few rounds, look for parking, which is so scarce here, walk down under the hot sun to your cafe to drink 1 cup of coffee?
Right.
I mean, do you see people doing that? So I always test them. The reason is because I want to see what's your idea, what's your plan, and how much they are willing to put into their business. So usually small business owners are very, the tighter the budget, the better for us.
All right.
Because that means that they are very careful with their resources. And everything they do, they must do the best. They cannot afford to waste. So for our part, we know that they have a tight budget. What we can help is we usually help them with a lower rent. So we always start with quite a low rent, and we try and do as much as we can for them in the shop. Certain things that needs to be, the basic needs to be done, we'll do it for them, so that they don't have to spend too much money, and a lower rent, and then we step up as it progresses. So this is one way we help them, and also giving them an opportunity to again, like the market, to try out their business, and to see where they can go with this business. Again, we have some that failed, but again, it's fine because they didn't put a lot of money in it, so it's not so painful. But some are thriving today.
Okay.
Some have opened new branches, have gone to bigger premises, and some are even probably top in their industry. If you've been to some of the cocktail bars in Hin, they are probably one of the best in Penang.
In Penang, yeah.
So it is, if you're controlling it in a way, I think for a neighborhood like us, it will work out better.
Okay.
Versus if you just
Let
don't
it go,
care, and then
right,
you just want good rent, and then you rent it to the Starbucks and the coffee bean and all that,
Right.
then it loses that character.
Okay, yeah.
For Penang.
So basically, it's almost carefully curated,
Yes.
the entire street, or at least as much as you can.
Yes.
Yeah. Instead of letting it get too gentrified,
Right.
to the extent that it's almost Disneyfication.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So yes, that is why it's very interesting to see that this street, Jalan Gurdwara, I mean, if we were to compare it to, let's say, Armenian Street, whereby the different types of visitors that you get, they may be from the same crowd, but they are demanding different things. Perhaps in Armenian Street is a lot of so to speak, low-value tourist products, whereas compared to Jalan Gurdwara, where Hin Bus is, whereby we can really see local creatives showcasing their products, whether or not it's within Hin Bus Depot or in the adjacent area. So yeah, that's great. And like, what are your short-term and long-term plans for Hin Bus Depot? What do you hope to accomplish?
So we, ever since we came out from the pandemic, we have been really, really busy. There's delayed projects that could not happen that is now happening. So I guess for the short term, it's just basically doing all this really well. And very recently we also started reaching out to other creative hubs outside of Penang. So it's basically just small little project, but it's important enough for us to plant a seed with them. So with the mindset that eventually, that we could collaborate in more bigger things in the future. So that's a short term. For long term, it has always been my hope that Hin Bus as a creative hub, and now we have added COEX behind, and COEX has actually even helped push us a bit, further along the progress of so-called creative hub. It is my hope that we don't just stay within Hin Bus and COEX, and whether what's is it possible that the whole 7th Street precinct could be a creative hub, for example. I think if you look at our electronics industry, our factories in Bayan Lepas and Bukit Minyak, we've done such a good job. We create so-called this electronics hub or industry, with the help of, I think, Invest Penang, and then Invest Penang did a very, very good job. So my question is, can we do the same with our creative economy, our creative industry? Can we have a agency, say, Create Penang, to do the same thing that they have done for the electronics industry? So it is my hope that, with what we have achieved in Hin Bus, that we have more confidence in even pushing the boundary and doing even more. We are still very early stage, as compared to some of the cities around us. But it's a good start, and we just need to, and make it happen quicker and really, expand our creative industry for Penang.
Really push with the creative economy and creative industry.
Yes.
So you have a program or project coming up, or is already running, Hin on Wheels?
Hin on the Move.
Sorry.
So the Hin on the Move was the one that we reach out to the other creative hubs and work with them. So that's like a small little collaboration with their space, just to get to know who they are, try to work with them. So hopefully that in future we can do bigger projects with them.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much, Shih Thoe, for speaking with me today. I've been speaking to Tan Shih Thoe, Managing Director of Lam Chun & Co. and owner and manager of Hin Bus Depot. This is Spill the Tea, a podcast by Penang Institute.